The Snowwhite saga just got even messier. Brett Cooper's faithful take on the classic tale is winning fans over, but Rachel Zegler isn't backing down. A fierce rivalry has sparked, with Cooper hailed as a hero for respecting the story's roots while Zegler faces backlash for her controversial modernized approach. This isn't just about two actresses, it's a battle over Hollywood's creative future. Who's got it right and who's losing their grip? Recent events have added a fascinating twist to the ongoing drama surrounding Snowwhite and the unexpected rivalry between Brett Cooper and Rachel Zegler. Brett Cooper, widely known as a prominent YouTube personality, has stepped into the spotlight for her casting in a competing Snowwhite adaptation backed by the Daily Wire. However, her journey has been far from smooth, with her departure from the Daily Wire under contentious circumstances creating a stir. Rumors suggest that Cooper was ousted in a hostile move, sparking discussions about the Daily Wire's rumored financial struggles and CEO Jeremy Boring's allegedly erratic leadership. Despite the chaos, Cooper's portrayal of Snowwhite has resonated with fans eager for a return to the classic tale's charm, romance, and values. Her dedication to preserving the timeless magic of the story has won her widespread acclaim. On the other side of this rivalry stands Rachel Zegler, who has faced intense backlash for her modernized, feminist take on the character. Unlike Cooper's faithful adaptation, Zegler's version has been labeled as divisive, with her sharp remarks against critics only adding fuel to the fire. Her disdain for Cooper's approach has deepened the controversy, highlighting a broader cultural clash. This clash between Brett Cooper and Rachel Zegler transcends personal rivalry. It embodies the widening rift between Hollywood's creative directions and audience expectations. While Cooper's traditional take on Snowwhite is heralded as a nostalgic revival of cherished values, Zegler's modernized portrayal has ignited debates about the balance between innovation and tradition in storytelling. The central question lingers: has Disney compromised too much of Snowwhite's original essence in its push for contemporary relevance, or does Cooper's faithful adaptation signal the storytelling renaissance audiences have been longing for? Meanwhile, the Daily Wire's internal troubles add another layer of intrigue to this unfolding drama. Whispers of financial instability and questionable decisions from Jeremy Boring have left many wondering if the company can weather this storm. For Brett Cooper, taking on the role of Snowwhite amid such upheaval makes her casting all the more remarkable. As these two interpretations of Snowwhite compete for audience attention, one thing is clear: this story is far from over and the stakes are higher than ever. The timing of these developments couldn't be more crucial. As Brett Cooper takes center stage with her portrayal of Snowwhite, the drama surrounding her departure from the Daily Wire adds a layer of complexity to her rising career. Questions are now swirling about whether the turmoil at her former workplace will hinder her ability to fully commit to her new role, or conversely solidify her image as a resilient figure in Hollywood's high-stakes arena. The Daily Wire's ongoing struggles also cast doubt on its ambitious push into the entertainment industry. While Cooper's Snowwhite adaptation garners widespread praise for staying true to the spirit of the original tale, the company itself seems to be grappling with a crisis that could jeopardize its future in cultural storytelling. Can the Daily Wire overcome its internal chaos to sustain its foothold, or will its troubles overshadow the success of Cooper's project? To truly grasp the gravity of this situation, we need to look beyond surface-level conflicts between two actresses. At first glance, this might appear to be a straightforward clash of creative visions. But a closer examination reveals that Rachel Zegler's reaction isn't just about preserving artistic integrity, it's about navigating a high-stakes competition for public favor. Zegler, once seen as a rising star under Disney's wing, now faces mounting challenges as her dismissive attitude toward the original Snowwhite alienates fans. Her comments, which criticized the classic film and revealed she's only seen it once and disliked it, have fueled a backlash that has tarnished her image. Enter Brett Cooper, an outsider to Hollywood who has embraced Snowwhite with an authenticity and passion that has captured the hearts of fans longing for a return to the story's roots. The contrast between the two couldn't be starker. Cooper's portrayal, steeped in reverence for the classic tale, has resonated deeply with audiences. Meanwhile, Zegler's version, marked by a modernized and feminist spin, continues to polarize viewers. This growing rivalry is more than just professional competition, it's emblematic of a broader cultural divide. Zegler's criticisms of Cooper's approach seem to stem from insecurity as the buzz surrounding Cooper's faithful adaptation grows louder. What makes this dynamic even more fascinating is the timing. Zegler's recent critiques came just as Cooper's performance began receiving widespread attention, making it hard to ignore the possibility that these remarks are an attempt to diminish Cooper's rising influence. For Zegler, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her take on Snowwhite has already been criticized for straying too far from the character's essence, and her public comments have done little to rebuild trust with the franchise's core fanbase. As the rivalry unfolds, the cultural debate between traditional storytelling and modern reinterpretation takes center stage, leaving fans and critics alike wondering which vision of Snow White will ultimately prevail. One thing is certain, the drama surrounding this iconic character isn't just about the story, it's about the artists behind it and the values they represent. Brett Cooper's approach to Snow White has resonated with audiences on a deeply emotional level. Her evident respect for the original story, combined with a personal passion for the role, has struck a powerful chord with fans who yearn for a return to timeless narratives. This starkly contrasts with Rachel Zegler's more defensive and dismissive attitude toward Cooper's portrayal. Zegler's reaction, often laced with frustration in interviews, appears to stem from more than just professional rivalry. It hints at a deeper fear of being eclipsed by someone outside the traditional Hollywood mold. However, the differences between Cooper and Zegler extend beyond personal competition. They represent two opposing philosophies of storytelling. Zegler's vision of Snow White as a fearless and independent leader reflects Hollywood's broader push to modernize beloved characters, shaping them to align with contemporary values. For her, the classic tale's themes of love, innocence, and romantic ideals feel outdated and irrelevant. This perspective drives her dismissive remarks toward Cooper's traditionalist interpretation. Yet Zegler's critiques seem to misunderstand what has made Snow White endure for generations. The themes of kindness, love, and resilience aren't relics of the past, they're universal virtues that resonate across cultures and eras. By dismissing these qualities, Zegler risks alienating a significant portion of the audience who cherish the timeless appeal of the original story. Her criticisms of Cooper appear less about the character and more about her own struggle to reconcile her artistic choices with public expectations. This dynamic places Zegler in an increasingly precarious position. Instead of addressing the criticism surrounding her portrayal of Snow White, she has chosen to deflect attention onto Cooper, attempting to delegitimize her rival's adaptation. Ironically, these actions have only amplified the perception that Cooper represents a movement to restore the magic of classic storytelling. Far from diminishing Cooper's standing, Zegler's dismissive comments have reinforced her rival as a champion for fans disillusioned with modern Hollywood's reinvention of cherished tales. Fans, weary of the industry's tendency to rewrite their childhood classics, have rallied behind Cooper's unapologetically faithful approach. Her portrayal is seen as a love letter to the original Brothers Grimm fairy tale and Disney's animated masterpiece. By embracing traditional values like love, kindness, and perseverance, Cooper has created a version of Snow White that feels both nostalgic and refreshingly authentic. This stands in stark contrast to Zegler's more radical reimagining, which many see as disconnected from the essence of the story. The result is a sharp cultural divide. Cooper has become a symbol for those who believe Hollywood has lost its way, while Zegler represents the industry's push to reshape narratives for modern sensibilities. What could have been a meaningful debate about creative direction has devolved into a clash of ideals, with Zegler seemingly struggling to reclaim the spotlight that is increasingly shifting toward Cooper. Ultimately, Cooper's performance is not just a faithful adaptation, it's a reminder of why these classic stories endure. Her approach, rooted in reverence for the original material, has amplified the backlash against Zegler's modernized vision and left audiences questioning whether Hollywood's push for reinvention is sacrificing the very qualities that make these tales timeless. Brett Cooper's portrayal of Snow White has struck a chord with fans who describe it as heartfelt and authentic. Many have expressed relief that someone is finally giving them a Snow White that feels true to the character they grew up with. Cooper's approach honors the traditional values of the story, emphasizing innocence, kindness, and love, elements that resonate deeply with fans who are tired of Hollywood's trend of changing beloved characters to fit contemporary sensibilities. In contrast, Rachel Zegler's interpretation has faced heavy backlash, as her version of Snow White rejects romantic love and focuses instead on female leadership and independence. This shift has alienated many who see it as a rejection of the very heart of the classic tale. Zegler's public disdain for the 1937 film, including her admission that she only watched it once and hated it, has made her a target for criticism. Her comments, dismissing the original themes of love and romance as outdated, have further intensified the divide between her and Cooper. While Zegler seeks to redefine Snow White as a more modern, empowered woman, Cooper's reverence for the original story has made her a favorite among fans who feel that Disney's recent reimaginings have strayed too far from the essence of these classic characters. The public perception of both actresses couldn't be more different. Cooper's grounded, optimistic attitude has made her more relatable and approachable, while Zegler's defensive and often dismissive remarks about the original Snow White have only isolated her further. Fans are rallying around Cooper not just for her portrayal of Snow White, but for what she represents: a return to the values of kindness, humility, and love that have always been at the core of the character. Social media is abuzz with comparisons between the two actresses, with Cooper emerging as a symbol of resistance against the growing trend of modernizing classic stories in ways that strip them of their original charm. Cooper's embrace of Snow White's legacy feels like a cultural statement, a reclaiming of a character that many fans feel has been distorted by Disney's modern adaptations. In this sense, her portrayal is more than just a performance. It's a statement about the need for authenticity and nostalgia in an era where everything seems to be reimagined and reinvented for the sake of political correctness. Ultimately, Cooper's success reflects a broader cultural longing for stories that honor their roots rather than trying to reinvent them. Her approach to Snow White, rooted in love and timeless storytelling, has resonated with fans who are tired of seeing their favorite characters altered to fit modern agendas. Meanwhile, Zegler's attempt to reinvent Snow White may have been an artistic choice, but it has led her into deeper conflict with the very audience she was hoping to connect with. Brett Cooper's approach to Snow White has become a beacon for fans who are frustrated with what they see as Hollywood's constant pandering to modern trends. By staying true to the original story, Cooper has offered a refreshing alternative, one that contrasts sharply with Zegler's modernized and feminist take on the character. Cooper's rendition has reignited a passion for the classic tale, proving that audiences still long for stories grounded in timeless values. In doing so, Cooper has inadvertently set a new standard for how Snow White should be portrayed, and this has only highlighted the shortcomings of Zegler's reimagined version. For many fans, Cooper's portrayal of Snow White is more than just a performance. It's a celebration of the character's innocence, kindness, and romantic ideals. These are the qualities that made the original Snow White resonate across generations. In stark contrast, Zegler's interpretation, which leans heavily into themes of independence and leadership, has alienated a significant portion of the fan base. Her rejection of the original story's romantic elements has left many feeling that the heart of the tale has been lost. As a result, the backlash against Zegler has only grown more intense. Fans see Cooper's faithful approach as proof that traditional storytelling still has a place in today's world, and that there is a demand for stories that respect their origins. For Zegler, this poses a direct threat to her own vision, exposing the flaws in her modernized Snow White, and forcing her to reckon with the fact that audiences may not share her progressive viewpoint. Zegler may view Cooper's portrayal as a challenge to her own interpretation because it underscores how far her version deviates from the original and how controversial her approach has become. Cooper's portrayal stands in stark opposition to Zegler's, emphasizing qualities like innocence and belief in love, which are central to the original Snow White. Zegler, on the other hand, rejects these traditional themes in favor of a more independent, leadership-driven Snow White. This divergence not only invites negative comparisons, but also puts Zegler in a defensive position, making her seem insecure in the face of growing praise for Cooper's faithful take on the character. The success of Cooper's Snow White has sparked a broader conversation about the balance between preserving classic storytelling and adapting it for modern sensibilities. For Zegler, the criticism of her Snow White isn't just about her portrayal of the character, it's also a reflection of the cultural moment she represents. The backlash challenges her public image as an advocate for progressive storytelling and forces her to confront the reality that her vision may not be as widely embraced as she once thought. In essence, Cooper's success and Zegler's growing criticism highlight the risks of straying too far from a beloved narrative. While Cooper's portrayal is a love letter to the timeless qualities that have made Snow White a cultural icon, Zegler's vision risks alienating the very audience she seeks to connect with. This dynamic is reshaping the conversation about storytelling, leaving Zegler to reconsider how much her modernized approach really resonates with the public. Rachel Zegler's public comments about the original Snow White have undeniably fueled the backlash against her. Her dismissive attitude toward the 1937 classic, calling it irrelevant to modern audiences and criticizing its emphasis on love and romance, has deeply alienated many longtime fans. Zegler's admission that she watched the original film only once and disliked it has only intensified the perception that she disrespects the character's legacy. This perception is hard to shake, especially given the weight of the original film's cultural significance. In stark contrast, Brett Cooper's admiration for the original Snow White has positioned her as a champion of tradition. Her personal connection to the themes of kindness, innocence, and love that define the character has resonated with audiences who view her as a respectful and authentic steward of Snow White's legacy. This reverence for the original tale has made Zegler's comments appear not only dismissive but also out of touch with the very audience she was meant to appeal to. For many, Cooper's approach feels like a return to something familiar and beloved, while Zegler's interpretation seems disconnected from the heart of the story. The divide between the two actresses goes beyond just a difference in approach to Snow White. It highlights a broader ideological clash. Zegler's Snow White reflects modern feminist ideals, focusing on themes like agency and leadership and reimagining the character as a figure who rejects traditional notions of love and romance. While this interpretation might resonate with some viewers, it has been heavily criticized for diminishing the charm and innocence that made Snow White such an enduring figure. Fans of the original story find it hard to connect with a Snow White who rejects the very elements that have defined her for generations. Cooper's portrayal, on the other hand, emphasizes timeless values like love, kindness, and resilience, qualities that have made the character a cultural touchstone. Her approach appeals to fans who are frustrated with Hollywood's trend of reimagining classic tales in ways that seem out of touch with their original spirit. By faithfully adhering to the essence of Snow White, Cooper provides a stark contrast to Zegler's revisionist vision. Cooper's success validates the idea that audiences are still invested in the original storytelling, and it challenges the necessity of modernizing the tale in the first place. For Zegler, this presents a direct challenge to her interpretation, opening her creative choices to intense scrutiny. There may also be a professional rivalry at play. Cooper, whose background as a YouTuber has given her a unique platform, has stepped into the role of Snow White with a level of success that Zegler, despite her Hollywood pedigree, has struggled to achieve. Cooper's ability to win over audiences with a more traditional portrayal of the character may have stirred insecurities in Zegler, who may feel overshadowed by someone who ironically isn't a conventional Hollywood actress. This dynamic adds another layer of complexity to their ongoing rivalry, as Zegler now faces competition not only from Cooper's portrayal but also from her growing popularity as an outsider in the industry. In the end, the clash between Cooper and Zegler is emblematic of a larger cultural debate whether Hollywood should preserve the legacy of classic stories or modernize them for contemporary tastes. Zegler's portrayal of Snow White, which challenges the traditional narrative, has proven divisive, while Cooper's faithful interpretation has earned her a strong following. The comparison between the two actresses underscores the tensions between tradition and progress in storytelling, making this rivalry more than just a battle for Snow White's crown. It's a symbolic fight over the future of storytelling itself. Moreover, Rachel Zegler's defensive stance, particularly her harsh criticism of Brett Cooper's portrayal, only serves to amplify perceptions of her being overly critical and dismissive. Rather than focusing on her own strengths, Zegler's negative remarks about Cooper risk making her appear petty and unprofessional, which further damages her credibility in the eyes of fans. In contrast, Cooper has been widely celebrated for bringing Snow White back to life in a way that feels genuine and heartfelt. Fans have praised Cooper for embodying the character's timeless essence while staying true to the story's roots. This positive reception stands in stark contrast to the backlash surrounding Zegler's comments and performance. With the more Cooper is celebrated, the more Zegler's approach is cast in a negative light. This feedback loop continues to heighten the tension between the two actresses, further solidifying Cooper as the fan favorite. Zegler's view of Cooper's portrayal as a threat underscores her own insecurities. It suggests that she is deeply aware of the backlash her modernized vision of Snow White has received, and is now reacting defensively to being overshadowed by a more traditional take on the character. Her critique of Cooper can be seen as an attempt to deflect attention from her own controversial choices, but it risks backfiring, reinforcing the perception that she is disconnected from the expectations of the audience. And there you have it, the showdown between Rachel Zegler and Brett Cooper. It's more than just a clash of two actresses, it's a battle of visions and ideologies. Zegler's harsh criticism of Cooper's portrayal could stem from a fear of being overshadowed, while Cooper's more faithful approach has resonated strongly with fans. The stakes go beyond just Snow White. It's a cultural debate between tradition and innovation, and what we truly want from our stories in this ever-changing Hollywood landscape. Will Disney's Snow White flop under the weight of this controversy? Or will the Daily Wire's traditional take stand stronger and gain more traction with audiences? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you Team Zegler or Team Cooper? Don't hold back, share your thoughts with us. And if you want more unfiltered takes on Hollywood's wildest controversies, be sure to subscribe to Movie Saga for more insights and discussions. Until next time, keep questioning the stories you're being told and who exactly is telling them.